Hi, Susan. Hi, all at the meeting.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Diane.
Hi, Diane. Nice to meet you.
Let me put my video on for a moment. There you are. I will be turning my video off, but hello.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, I'm just moving around too much right now.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to handle some computer stuff to get this up and running. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, so we'll do pledge allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll do a roll call of committee members present. We'll start at this end of the table. Dan Angelandi. Matt D'Esposito.
Carol Annist.
Diana Sarah.
And who do we have present online?
Susan Walker.
Scott Megan.
Diane Kataya.
Susan
Okay.
Walker.
Okay, I think we got you all. That was just so when they do the minutes, they can account for who's here.
I'm here, Ed.
What was that?
Ed.
Is that on?
Who's it?
It's Diane.
No. Bill.
Oh, I heard Bill.
Oh, okay.
Bill McCarthy.
Yep. Okay, so just a short special meeting. The first thing on the agenda will be election of officers. With that being said, before we start that, I just want to withdraw my name for consideration for chairman. So if we start with chairman, at this point, that only leaves Dan Angelandi, unless there's anybody else that wants to express any interest. Dan, looks like you're running unopposed. I don't think we need to necessarily carry a vote then. For vice chairman.
Wait, can I just say something?
Yep.
Dan, I'm supporting you, but I would like to see some back minutes brought into the town clerk's office, please. Because we have no minutes going back to before 2020, I believe it is.
Okay.
So all the important votes that were taken on the emergency plan, I think should be on record with the town clerk's office.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vice chairman. You want to do it?
Diane. I nominate Diane.
Diane, do you accept? You're muted.
No?
Nope,
No.
still muted. Is that a no?
She said no.
Does
No.
not accept.
Okay.
Do we need to fill a vice chairman position?
In the case that Dan.
Yeah, in
can't-
case something
Yeah.
happens to me, which isn't out of the realm of possibility.
If you need somebody, I
We
will.
can't hear you.
Diane, you're muted.
She's
You're-
walking. Hold on.
Yeah,
I think would have fallen on you because you were
No,
previous chair.
no.
if you are interested, I will help out in that position. Someone
So
just
it's up to you, man. It's-
someone would just need to nominate.
I nominate Matt.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we got to vote because it was a nomination. You were already nominated.
Yeah.
So, any opposed? I'll take that as a no. Secretary. There was no nominations for secretary because we didn't really move forward last time.
About, what's her name, sis?
Is any of our online participants willing to sit in as secretary? For what it's worth, you are not responsible for actually completing the minutes. There's a town employee that is transcribing them from the videos now.
Sue, I nominate you. Bill's laughing.
Susan, do you accept?
Well, what is the responsibility?
It's in name only.
It's just a name.
Sure.
Any opposed? I guess that carries. Okay, yeah, Susan, there is a town hall staffer that transcribes the minutes from the videos and posts them. So you don't even have to handle that. But theoretically, if we need help writing correspondence to the town or something like that, we might enlist your help a little bit, that's all.
That's fine.
So with that being, you want to take over, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
What was that? We're up to, it's on the screen too. So the
Yeah,
NEMS
so-
update.
Well, we don't have any public participation.
No, there's nobody online as public. So, Scott, are you still on?
So, yes, I'm still here.
Okay, Scott. Have you in a public forum on the topic of the update from NEMS that you weren't able to give at the last meeting?
Okay. So, welcome to all the newcomers and to all my past acquaintances of the committee. Welcome back, and I look forward to going forward. One of the focuses this year is going to be on trying to wrap up some of our unfinished business over the years. Things that have been unfinished, the town underwent some major, and we're actually still undergoing some major, but they redid what they call the CAD system. For probably 20 years now, we've been trying to get the CAD system to give us the data directly into our things. Federal requirements actually require us to get stuff such as when 911 was called, when the first dispatcher talked to a person. And the only way to do that is we receive a stack of papers about 2 inches thick, at least every month, and hand enter all the data. Our town does not do what they call EMD. You can either do EMD locally, which would be our primary service answering point, or as everybody knows it, police dispatch, or you can contract it. Now, in order to do it, that's the in-service when 911 gets called, phone calls, directions of how to help someone until the ambulance gets there. And it would require substantial financial impact and hiring of more dispatchers, probably 2 more during the daytime shifts and at least 1 more for the overnight shifts. So commercially, you can get that coverage usually around $45,000 a year because it's a regional dispatching. You're sharing it with other towns. And what AMR has done for years is they do it for free in exchange for getting a free contract with the town manager to provide EMS during the daytime. So it's all bundled into this whole free concept. So it's less expensive. But what's nice is when you call 911, the police department takes initial call. They start the first responders. That's the police department. They're in the neighborhoods a lot quicker than an ambulance. And then the ambulances get dispatched. At that point, the caller is transferred to New Haven, and it's seamless. There's been issues, but it's pretty much seamless. You wouldn't know that you're being transferred. And they talk to you until the ambulance gets there. There is no, so what took years to get settled was that link from that dispatcher in New Haven was done by phone, but there's no digital link. That was actually finally, after probably about 10 years of work between AMR, the town of Newington, the IT services, was completed about 2 to 3 years ago. What is not in place is the link that goes to the other ambulance service in town, known as Newington Emergency Medical Services. We do not have the links. It was supposed to be part of the project. It was forgotten or conveniently pushed aside. So we do not have that link. The project still is not complete. It still should remain open. The town IT manager claims he knows nothing about it, even though this same committee, EMS committee you're sitting on today, was there listening to Glenn Torrey, for example, ask every month, what is the status? Well, the status is we still don't have that link. And when I talk to town management and town IT directors, they're pretending they don't even know anything about it now. In fact, at one point, the fire department had gotten modules in their fire trucks to show them pre-arrival instructions, how to get to the scene. And they said, oh, the Newington EMS will get those put in too. Former IT manager. Current IT manager says, no, that was never said. That was mentioned and is in recordings of this same EMS committee. The problem is finding that recording. So that's one of the major open items agendas we need. We need to get that data. So that will be the major work we've got. The other work, which is in the public news, is Newington's contracts with AMR. This is a contract that actually started about 25 years ago with the town of Wethersfield when we were using that. AMR did end up coming back to town, and we split away from using services with Wethersfield. Wethersfield continued on their own with Aetna, much as we continued on our own with AMR. About every 5 years, the contract comes up. Our contract is good through June of 2025, so we'll have some negotiations coming up. And if you've seen anything in the papers or Facebook or any of those social media, you're seeing a contract negotiation right now going on in Wethersfield. It's gotten publicly spread about. Newington, we've been fair over the years, but AMR did come to Newington on more than one occasion. And basically, AMR gives the town of Newington free service. Now, your free service costs Newington EMS $270,000 a year, but that's free service to the town of Newington. So what AMR does is they go to the town and says, let's roll the contract. The town gets free service. We subsidize it, and it continues on. In Wethersfield, the same process kind of goes on, but in this time, they don't want to work with the volunteers anymore. So the problem isn't so much new. We've been through it 3 times. Most of the people on this committee have sat here 3 to 4 times. And with our partner, I think Brandon's in the room. I'm not sure if that's him there, but Brandon usually represents AMR. We have a good partnership with AMR. It's this really the same thing. The only twist is Aetna doesn't want to work with Wethersfield EMS anymore. They want it all. So what you're seeing in the news, there's 2 sides to every story. It's nothing new. Newington and AMR has gone through this for years, and we work it out with the EMS committee and town council. All I'm saying is take the time now while you're seeing what's going on over in Wethersfield, because we're going to go through a similar process, but it shouldn't get I don't think it would get ugly like it is over there. Because again, we work well with AMR. And we work these details out, but the details are coming up, and the EMS committee does have they have to recommend to the town, how do we want EMS to keep going in the future? So that's going to be what comes up over the next year as we start negotiating. But again, we've had good partnerships. We had great partnership with Aetna years ago. It's just what's going on in Wethersfield isn't an amicable arrangement right now. So it is in the state hearings. First hearing starts tomorrow. But what could happen out of this is that Wethersfield EMS could no longer service the town of Wethersfield. So that's where that is. I'm spending a lot of time working with them. Wethersfield has actually come into our town about 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months to back up what you would call the overflow of ambulances. There's times a day when sometimes Newington, like right now, I think we've got an accident right now going on where I think there's 3 ambulances tied up on Cedar Street. Well, at that point, you've probably gotten a Newington EMS ambulance going, you probably have 2 AMRs. If there's another call, where's the next ambulance coming from? So usually it's AMR, sometimes it's Aetna, sometimes it's ASM, sometimes it's Cromwell Fire. Other times it could be New Britain EMS or even Yukon Fire. So this is stuff that happens every day. The bigger thing to be concerned about is there's a nationwide shortage of paramedics, and there's a nationwide shortage of EMTs. The whole healthcare system across the country is in peril. And Connecticut is no different. So that's where we are. Newington EMS is serving well. Our numbers are down as everybody else's, and all call volumes across the country and Newington are up by about 25%. That's where we are. That's basically what I have. I'll let anybody ask a question if they want. Okay, that's my report.
Thank you very much, Scott.
All right.
Again, no public participation. Item 8, committee member comments. Any comments from any committee members?
Are we going to discuss how we're going to move forward with the, with 2 of the issues that Scott brought up?
Well, Scott, my understanding is you've had some forward progress with getting the town IT director to communicate with you in regards to the MDTs. It wasn't showing up in that screen at all.
Signed off.
Okay, my understanding.
I'm here.
Okay. So you've had some improvement in communications with the IT director regarding the MDT situation?
Yes, we have, but basically he's claiming, and he did get back to us and it's like, well, he says he can't speak for the prior IT manager. What the fire chief reminded me and of stuff is that there were communications that are on public record. One of them being the intranet connections to the firehouses and buildings that are in there. And he believes it was a committee, it was discussed at this committee of how EMS under Keith Chapman, his town manager, he says that we should have been included. So there's been a lot of programs that through changes in the town management since Tanya left us, back to Mr. Solomon from Norwich, and then Keith, and then we had short time with Tom Holka. And now we're in interim. There's been a lot of stuff that from the EMS side hasn't been completed because it's easy to forget about us.
Yeah, my understanding was, I thought it was even mentioned to this committee that the iPads were here.
Yeah, I
that
know. And what
Had the
Mr.
iPads in
Charlo
stock.
claims is it has never been any hardware. So we're kind of trying to review the data to see if we can pull up any records. But
Well,
we know
those
that
were during times that it was on Zoom, so they should be
Correct.
searchable.
It was when we had the meeting at the ambulance building, because Chapman was there and Chief Clark was there.
I remember
And
you
Chief
talking
Clark, yeah,
about it.
Chief Clark yelled at me for whatever Chief Clark yelled at me for.
I remember even talking about it in this room at some
Yeah.
point, but it was during times that we were on Zoom. So that should be researchable.
Yeah, 'cause
I know
one
there
with-
was-
the Mayor was at
yeah,
that one too.
There was a
Yeah.
period of time where a staffer was supposed to be producing minutes and they weren't getting transcribed. But that has been fixed now. Now what that doesn't address is the data flow regarding calls and times and all that. Not necessarily for the MDTs, but for your own statistical use. And that's one thing that still needs to be addressed.
Right.
If I could just make a suggestion, so we do get a report from West Hartford, which is on NextGen CAD, which is a Excel report of responses, times, et cetera. Maybe that's an option that.
Well, that's the confusing thing,
Yeah.
because they seem to. NEMS has seemed to have been told that the only thing they can get is a PDF format, which needs to be then transcribed. So getting a actual Excel or tab separated file that can be used in a spreadsheet form that would probably greatly improve their ability to manipulate the data.
Yeah, I know we get it from West Hartford's NextGen CAD, so that might be something that I could share. Scott, I could link you up with manager of West Hartford's dispatch center.
Yeah.
And he might be able to provide you with some information, but we do receive an Excel report out of the NextGen CAD.
Yeah, and we know that works, and we know that Rocky Hill actually imports right into the image track, and they're using NextGen. The problem has been is former IT manager definitely did not see us as part of the town and refused to do anything. Scott Charlo, who's taken over, is right now still overwhelmed from all the changes. And the problem is, even though there may have been discussions, what we still get is you're not a town agency, we're not giving you the information, and we're not going to cooperate. Meanwhile, I can't file all that information. So yeah, the Excel we know will work. It's breaking through the barriers. Now I did send a question over to so I sent a thing. I did send it over. Yeah. Yeah. So
Scott, do you think, through your connections in Rocky Hill, you'd be able to get a sample file that they're getting, that they're
Yeah.
importing to image?
yeah, we should be able to.
I might be able to work with dispatcher Garuti to
Yeah.
figure out why we can't pull that report and what we need to do to be able to
Yeah.
pull it.
And with new chief in there, Chief Perry, he seems open to at least discussions. So again, a lot of it's going to be working with him down to his staff, so we don't come around the backside of him. But I know he'll probably just work. It's easier to get what we need and say, we know what can be done. This is what you need to do. And then we can probably get that. So it'd be great.
Yeah, if we can get a sample file that they use to import, and if they know the report name, and I'll try to work with, because I could also, I mean, I'm sure dispatcher Grudy has contacts with both NextGen and can make contact with somebody in Rocky Hill Communications.
Correct.
But if we get our hands on the file also, it might just be a little easier for him to track it down.
Correct. And I appreciate that.
Any other
Any other comments?
comments or discussion with the EMS chief?
So, I mean, there's other topics, is something that we should discuss and should probably put on an agenda. Discuss at a future meeting, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hi, Scott.
All right.
Any other committee member comments? All right, and there's still no public participation, so Motion,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being online.
Who's got their hand up?
I don't know.
Do you?
I know.